This is how this works. The first thing you need to do, install Yeoman. npm install -g for global, yo. Install your generator, npm install -g generator Angular. You just have to do this once, and once you're there, bam, you're good to go. From here, wherever you are, you'll make a directory for your application, step into it. So technically, line 3, that's not even an Angular. Like, I mean, that's not even a Yeoman command. That's just a housekeeping command. Yo, Angular, your app name. In this case, it would be Notorious. And it scaffolds your app up. From there, if you want to see it, it's grunt server. Comes with Node. It'll spin it up. You can see it right out of the gates. If you want to run your test, it's grunt test. And if you want to do a production build, it's grunt. And what that does is it concatenates everything, moves everything into a distribution folder that then you can move up to your web server. So it's a really nice workflow. And that's, for me personally, why I like it and why I've started to use it. So let me show you what I mean here. I am just going to cd all right, so nothing on my desktop. No tricks up my sleeve. We'll go to, so I'm creating my directory.
You've already done the npm installs.
Yes. And so I would have actually had you guys do this. There is some problems with PCs. So you can get grunt, you can get npm, you can get those things set up. There's just a few extra hoops. And I have not been on a PC for a few years. And so I think it would be a train wreck to try to actually do that here. But with that said is, once you have Yeoman installed and you have the generator installed, this is where we are, right here. So I've just created my directory. I'm in it. Do we want to include Twitter Bootstrap? In this case, I'm going to say no. It's going to ask if you want to include a few other resources. I'm going to just say no. I did this. I was doing a workshop a while back ago, and I did this. And I basically did Yo Angular in the app name. And this girl was like, whoa, 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 slow down. I can't type this fast. And it's just like, well, hang on. And so it just, and we're done. So let's see what we have here. I'm just going to clear this. And so this, in my opinion, is the easiest way to get a hello world. I mean, it was 2 command lines, provided that your directory is created. From here, it's all green, baby.
Can we see just the file structure it's set up?
Yep. Let me do, and so this is what you get out of the gates, but 2 things worth pointing out here is you have your app directory. That's what you develop out of. You have your test directory. That's where your tests exist. So let me just show you something real quick, going off script. Let's go with this. And so what this has done is I've basically used it to generate a controller and a view, and it'll put it into the route. So I'm going to cd into, actually, let me just pull this up in Sublime. And so in my test folder, it's actually in the spec, it's actually generated a test for me to stub out. But it's nice because it's instantiating the environment for me. From there, all I have to do is write the test. I'm not having to worry about, what about this? What about this? You know, is my grunt file set up right? Is my karma config set up right? You're good to go. And then from here, you have, this might be a little small. I don't know. Nope, sorry. Is you basically have script styles and views. But here is it actually has generated the route for you and says main controller goes to main.html. And so that's set up. And then this is the main view, so it generates your HTML to start building out. And your controller. So AngularJS by itself is really easy to write. Using Yeoman, it just gets you that much further down the road. And so I think it's a strong option to consider. What that said is, you know, with PCs, it's a little tricky to set up. I know some people have. I think Windows is coming around with building up, you know, kind of their tooling and, you know, getting on board with Node. And I think Git, they just finally got a first-class Git citizen client. But what that said is really, really quick velocity right out of the gates. So does that make sense? Does anybody have any questions about Yeoman so far, or what we've just kind of covered? Okay. I will. So with Angular, now that we've kind of seen it in action, we've done a hello world, we've seen it with Yeoman, is the 80-20 rule definitely applies to Angular. Is that you're going to find that the most of your work is going to revolve around a core set of components that you're just going to use over and over and over. There's things that I'll use maybe once or twice, and then I'll forget about it. There's even dusty corners of Angular that I've never even been because I haven't needed to go there. And so my goal is that if you can understand kind of where the 80-20 rule works and applies to Angular, I think you're going to get up and running very quickly. A lot of productivity behind you and focusing on these components. So that is what I think, at least for the first part, we're really going to try in the next module, try to hammer down, really try to lock down. We'll take it as slow as we need to, because if you guys can walk away with a grasp on this next module, I will be very happy. But with that said, is approach it with kind of the 80-20 rule in mind. And that's certainly how I'm going to be kind of laying out the content.